Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here with another magic maker project for hobby hoppers, and we're kicking off the spooky crafty season on my channel. Today we're going to be making this adorable pastel Halloween card, starting off weekly projects, probably up until Halloween at this rate. I have so many ideas that I want to share with you. So here we are, back at my desk. It's a bit chaotic. It's my first day back. Give me a little bit of a leeway, I think. But here are the things that I am going to be using to make this card. So I have the new Builder Cauldron die set by Fawn, and I'm going to be using the Sweet Spiders stamp set. Maybe the add-on as well. I'll see how I go, and if I need a few more little things on this card. I'm going to be using the largest of my stitch rectangles, which I actually had to go digging for. That was a little scary. I'd planned all these cards and gotten most of my things ready, and just as I sat down, I thought, oh my gosh, where is my most used die? It has been months since I have sat here to do some crafts. Luckily, it was just sitting in my drawer with some other dies that I had last used a very long time ago to make my last card. I've also got my black ink, my embossing ink, and these are the colors that I'm going to be working with today. These are Distress Oxide inks. They're going to be perfect for my cauldron and my background as well. I've got my anti-static powder because I'm going to be doing a bit of embossing, and I haven't grabbed it yet, but I will be using white embossing powder. I originally had the idea to use silver embossing powder, but I actually don't have any. And I think maybe I did have some a very long time ago and maybe threw it out because I never used it, and it would have been my mum's from back when I was a kid and she was crafting. So the background that you see on this card, I had to improvise pretty heavily because it had to stray from my original idea. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to cut out some dies and then we'll get onto inking and stamping. Okay, now that I have my pieces cut out, I'm going to start by doing my background because I'm going to be inking this up after I do some embossing, and I can ink up the rest of these little things as well. So what I'm going to start with is this big spider web to make our own background. I was so excited to see the spider set this year, but I think even if I wasn't excited about the spiders, I would have been very excited about this particular stamp. It is just so cute. I'm going to stamp this one a little bit all over the place on the background. I'm not going to be too worried if it hasn't stamped perfectly or if there are bits and pieces missing. It does look pretty clear, but if it is a bit patchy, it's okay. It's a spider web. I'm not going to be too sad about that. And I don't know if you noticed, but I have just realized I've forgotten to use my anti-static powder already. So this is going to be probably a bit messy. I will emboss this one first so that I can use my anti-static powder for the rest of them. And I probably will do it one at a time so that I don't bump them. Once that has all melted, I'm just going to give it a second to set before I move on to the rest. Okay, so now I'm going to use my anti-static powder so that we don't end up with too much of a mess on this piece of cardstock. And again, I'm going to use my spiderweb stamp and just place it somewhere different. I'm not sure what I did with this one to get this part a bit messy, but it's okay. It's a spider web. I think one up in the corner would look really cute too, but I might take away those extra bits and just have it sit on the outside. I think that might look cute. Oh, did you see that? I nearly lost a finger. 3 of them together. Okay, I'm feeling like it does need just a little bit more. I just don't know if I can fit another spider web how I'm thinking I want to, but I'll give it a go. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of lines up very well with those other two, so I'm going to give that a go. There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. I'm just going to emboss one final thing on the background before I move on to the next step, and that is this little spider web. I would love to have a little spider dangling down over here, and I just want to make sure that bit of web is ready. I don't want to stamp it in black and have it too dark. I still want it to blend in a bit with the background. Okay, we're gonna start inking some things up, and you might have noticed I have a new craft mat. I don't have the black one anymore. My old laptop used to get so hot it had actually warped my black mat and it had burned my leg several times. I do have a new one now and it's far kinder, but I've got this one to work with now and it has never had ink on it. The good thing about the black one was that you couldn't really see wherever the ink was, but then I guess in some ways it kind of was a hindrance when I was trying to show where the ink was. So I don't know, I guess I'm getting used to having this one again. I'll give it a few weeks and then see if I'm happy with the clear one or if I'd like to go back to the black one. Now this is probably my favorite pink in the Distress Oxide range. It is just so cute. I am just going to do the edges to kind of give it a round shiny look. I will also go in with some highlighting with my Jelly Roll pens as well, but I thought for now this will help add some dimension. I'm going to go a little heavier on the bottom for a bit of shadow. Very gently go over the center so that it's not stark white. Now, I did consider inking up a piece of cardstock first in these colors and then cutting out my die cuts, but I thought I do like the way the edges tend to grab a little bit more of this ink, so it might be not so flat, if that makes any sense. The edges will be a little bit darker, which is kind of what I want. I want the ink to soak into those places and change how dark it is, because then I just feel like it just adds dimension without having to do anything extra. I am really liking those colors. I'm very excited to be doing Pastel Halloween. I will do some more crafts in traditional colors as well over the next few weeks, but I've got a thing for the Pastel Halloween. I will probably color in the spoon with some Copics, but then I have just realized I've got these little bubbles as well, so I'll do them in the same marigold ink, just with what's left over on my sponge here. I have also got my shaded lilac ink out because I would like to color my little spiders a very pale purple with my Copics, which I will get in a minute. But for now, we're going to stamp out our images. Okay, I have a whole bunch of adorable little spiders here. I did grab some from the add-on as well, just what I could fit on this piece of cardstock. And I'm going to ink them up with some black ink. I am noticing that they're a little patchy to stamp, but I will tell you that is nothing to worry about if this is the first time you're using a set of stamps. I seem to find it happen a lot when the stamps are brand new. There are ways to fix it. I maybe should have just run my hand over it a few times, which seems to do the trick to stop them from getting like this. It just seems to be like a first use thing. So hopefully these won't be too patchy to work with. They look just fine. They just needed a few rounds of ink. But now that I'm going to clean them up, I probably will never see that problem again with this set. Okay, so here I have the Copic colors I will be working with today. As you can see, they match the colors of the inks that I have been using mostly. I do find that my pinks are very soft in my Copic collection. I don't own many Copics. I do find pinks and reds hard to pick because I feel like a lot of them go a little bit fluoro. That and Copic markers are very expensive, so my collection is very small. So I'm going to get started coloring these little images in, and while I do that, we can have a quick chat about Hobby Hoppers. So for those of you who don't know, Hobby Hoppers is a small business based in Melbourne, Australia, and they are my go-to for all the new Lawn Fawn releases. Trish, the owner, stocks everything you need for card making. There are card bases and inks, so many stamps, so many dies, and probably the most impressive collection of washi tape that I have ever seen. If you'd like more information on Hobby Hoppers, I will put all of the details in the description box below, as well as links to everything that I'm using today. This purple is so pale. I might just give these guys another layer of it, and then I will come in with a slightly darker purple to do the shadows. Now, I do get distracted when I'm coloring. I don't talk a lot because I'm focusing, so I will leave you with some music while I finish this off. Now that they are coloured in, I'm going to add some white highlights with my jelly roll pens to brighten them up and give them a little bit of dimension. Today I will mostly be using my 05 because these little spiders and these other little details are so small, and probably my size 1 as well, as the cauldron is pretty big and I'd like some nice thick white lines on that one. I just love this little spider in this witch's hat. It's so cute. Sadly, I think my size 1 is dying, so next time I place an order with Hobby Hoppers, I will have to check and see if any more of them are in stock. I will give my 08 a go. See if I can save this one. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I was hoping for a much thicker line on these, but that will do. Now, I really should do this background before I forget. I keep getting distracted and doing something else. It's typical of me. So what I'm going to do with this is just very gently do some patches in these colors on this white cardstock in hopes that it will make the white spider webs pop. Now, as I have a lot of pink going on down here with the cauldron, I will stick to doing pink towards the top and using the other colors in the other areas to fill it in. I am probably going to dab a little bit of that ink off first. I don't want this to be too dark. Okay, same with the orange. Oh my goodness, as you can see, I have gone far too dark there. And there we have it. We can see those spider webs nice and clear now. Now, one of the last things I need to do before I assemble the card is cut out these little spiders. I will be grabbing the matching die set for this stamp set. I didn't grab it this time. I just wanted to get my hands on a bunch of stamps so that I could get started with creating, but oh my gosh, it's going to be very helpful to use dies to cut out these spiders with all of these little legs. I am going to fussy cut them now, so it's going to be a little bit tricky, but they will always look neater and better with the matching dies. Now, I know it's only my first day back, but I am already risking everything by stamping directly onto my background. I was playing around with a couple of ideas for this sentiment, but I just feel like I always spend so much time die cutting banners, and I'm just checking to see if that's straight. Die cutting banners and embossing and doing all of that, and I don't know, I always feel like by the time I get to the end of the card, I don't feel like bringing out all those tools again. So I am going to try to stamp directly onto my background here. Worst case scenario, I can make a banner if this doesn't work. I can always cover it up, but I'm hoping this will work. So what I've got is Happy Halloween, hope you catch all the treats. And I am stamping directly over a bit of spider web there, so I know it's gonna look probably a little funny. I don't think that matters too much. There we go. I'm only gonna stamp twice, otherwise I think I'll overload it with ink. I actually like that. I think that looks good. And now that I've done that, I'm going to pop some double-sided tape on the back of this. Try not to get that ink all over it. Some double-sided tape on the back, and then we can assemble our little scene. Oh my goodness. I just realized there's something inky. Oh, it's probably the ink on the spider web's doing it. So I've got a little bit of ink here and a little bit there. So that's not too much of a drama. I can probably cover it up if I need to. I will just see where I can place things first. For some of my little spiders, I am going to add some foam tape to the back of them to give them a bit of dimension. I can't help but feel that this little guy down here in the corner is just me. Sitting there with his little block of chocolate, sneaking in some lollies. It's very relatable. I am just a little tempted to pop open that part of the cauldron. I don't know if I can now, it might be glued down. And it is glued down. Just tempted to see if I can fit a bit of this one in there. Of course, I make it difficult at the very end, don't I? So it looks like she's pouring them straight in. Maybe I shouldn't have stuck her down first, but let's have a look and see what I can come up with. Maybe not. Maybe I can... Oh, she wants to bring everything with her, the whole spoon and all. I think if I can... Because I still want to be able to read that it's Sour Patch Flies. And then let's have a look and see if I can... I think that looks a little better. I don't know. You let me know. Does that look a little better? I like being able to read it. Okay. Next, we've got this little cutie. And then we've got some bubbles. Okie dokie, let's get this onto a card face. And there we have it. That is our first project for the spooky season. I would love to know what you think about it in the comments below. Don't forget, if you'd like to check out Hobby Hoppers, all the details will be in the description box, as well as the links to everything that I used today to make this project. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to see what I make next. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.